and then the kind of film production style. Because one of the things we talked about way back when we started, just between Gabe and I, not on the podcast, we were like, we want to talk about movies all the time. And we were worried that we were going to just kind of like burn out on that idea. So we waited for a while, and now we're kind of ready to definitely talk about movies.
But I think we'll have to limit that. Like, we may do, like,
like one or two
once
of those,
a month or something.
Not every episode. I mean, I could talk about it for every episode.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But I think, especially, like, season 1 of the podcast seemed to be going more towards, like, hot topics and, like, scandals and shit that were going around. Like, controversial topics that were kind of happening. And that was really nice, and it seemed like, listeners really enjoyed that. But also, I want to talk about some things that I just really enjoy and some things that mean a lot to me, because that's what I want to do.
Like Infinity War. Yeah,
I just want to do episodes of Infinity War.
I think you could talk about that movie forever.
Yeah, absolutely.
And ever.
I could just do Marvel things forever.
Yeah. But that's the definite future. So why don't you talk about, like, our big plans?
This one's interesting. Okay, so just a preface. This kind of conversation that you're about to hear is, one, how the podcast came to be. Just from, like, that summer where we were talking every night. Like, this is the kind of shit where we talked about, what if we just fucking made a podcast? And what if we did these things and did this kind of, and this is what it looks like. And this is kind of how we created the podcast. And then this summer, we had the same kind of conversation, just in the sense of, and this is about, what you're about to hear us talking about this is kind of, I don't know, there's something in the air in the summers that make us ambitious and kind of plan things. So that's what this looks like. And this is not us saying this is absolutely going to happen. Yeah. But this is more of like dreaming and hoping, like, this is what we would like to see it look like. If we fast forwarded time and stopped it in a year, like, this is what we would like to see at least coming to fruition. Like, it's not, full force there yet, but it is on its way in. Yeah. So that's what we're going to talk about for the rest of the episode. Yeah. And like we said, we don't know how long this episode is going to be.
Yeah, it might be a little shorter than normal, just because there's only so much I can say in a short amount of time about, like, our dreams, because they're not big dreams, but it's like, we
want to stay humble for sure until things start happening, and then we can talk more about bigger things.
Yeah. But the one thing that I would love to see it turn into, and this is, I would argue and say that this is about a 2-year, not a year. Okay. But in 2 years, I think that we're going to be a network, so to speak.
That's what I've been thinking about a lot, is because the Sad Bois network sounds fucking awesome.
SBN. Yeah. But not like a network on TV, obviously, but we want to, by the end of this next year, in a year's time, we definitely want a YouTube channel. Yeah. And we definitely want to be making funny stuff, like, just like dumb skits and that sort of thing, but also, like, kind of talking about news with our twist on it and our take on it. And just in our personal lives, we're both probably going to be in LA in a year. Mm-hmm. So, there's a lot of stuff going on out there. There's a lot of, like, news. There's a lot of music and culture and all sorts of, like, different things. So I would love to see a YouTube where we just cover those things, especially with kind of, like, us, kind of landing this interview with the band, like, just doing stuff like that, like, and having other people involved. I don't think it'll be just Gabe and I forever.
Yeah, that's the thing that really got me fired up. Yeah. Is thinking about the fact that, like, at some point we are doing or planning all these things, and there's only so much that we can do as people. Yeah. And I think it would be so cool to bring more people into this, and like, even so there will be things that, like, we're not even involved with. Yeah. I mean, obviously, like, we kind of have our hand in it in a way, because we would be kind of on top of the network, but, like, having people and being like, hey, you want to talk politics? Okay, so every, Tuesday, Thursday, you do a politics show for YouTube, and, you get, 10, 15 minutes, talk about whatever you want. It doesn't matter. But, like, that sounds super cool to me. especially because I like the idea of the Sad Boys kind of having their hand in all these different pots, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
the podcast will, I can almost 100% say, will always be Gabe and I.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's not going to change, but, like, it's, I don't know, there was just a moment this summer that hit me of like, yeah, I mean, I cannot think of anything. What I'm trying to say, and normally I'm making jokes, but this is something I'm serious about, so I'm trying to phrase it correctly, but I want this, I don't want to be overly ambitious, but also, like, I've not really felt like I could do anything until this. Or, like, I've not really felt confident about me doing anything until this. So it's like, whenever this idea struck, it was just like, yeah, I want to like, go for this super, super hard. And in not copying any sort of formula, because there's so many duo YouTube people out there, like Rhett and Link, and then Anthony and Ian for Smosh. I know that they split up, but, like, that and, name some more. I know that there are more out there. Those are the only two that came to my mind when I was first thinking about it. But, like, they have their own kind of, like, network type things, but they're not doing the stuff that we're wanting to do. It's very different. It's not all, like, funny skits and stuff. Like, those things are fun and funny to do, but, like, we want to do kind of like what we did in season 1. A lot of, like, hot takes, a lot of, like, not necessarily politics, because I'm not well versed in that. I have my opinions, but but that sort of thing where we're kind of letting other people...
Yeah, just kind of do whatever they want, you know?
It's the Sad Boys mentality of, like, it's the brand.
Yeah, and I think the whole thing is going to be, like, you know, this is a comedy thing.
Yeah.
So, like, of course, you know, and we even did it in, like, serious episodes, like, you know, the mental health episode and, like, the Hollywood episode and stuff like that. It's like, talking about very serious things and very real things, but there's always that little twist of, like, we're going to still enjoy ourselves.
Yeah.
We're going to crack jokes because that's just who we are as people. And I think that that's, like, the important thing when we're, like, kind of thinking about this is, like, we always want that kind of mindset to be in everything that we do and everything that we put out.
Yeah. Even if it's not us in particular putting it
for
out.
Sure. But I don't know. Like, I love the idea of having multiple podcasts under this thing. Like, you know, one thing that I've been doing a lot recently, I've really been, like, hitting comics super hard. And, like, I don't know anywhere that I can really go for, like, I don't know of any one place where I can go for just, like, all the comic shit that I need. Yeah. Like, and just, like, want to talk about, you know, like, the history of things and, like, all that kind of stuff. I have been thinking about it a lot. I want to start, like, a separate little branch podcast or video. I'm not sure entirely what that series kind of looks like, but I want to do something where the whole focus is comics and, you know, superhero stuff that's going on, because that's something that I very much stay plugged into all the time. Yeah. And it would be cool, you know, especially if that's, like, you know, a part of the market that hasn't been hit yet.
Yeah.
Because, you know, that's something that I really care about and something that really gets me going.
And a lot of people care about it.
Yeah, for sure.
Otherwise,
they wouldn't still be talking about it.
Or know? Making this many awesome movies and all that good stuff. One thing that I want to do, which I don't want you involved in, I'm just kidding. You just made it seem like your podcast was, like, not about me and, like, I wasn't going to be in it.
Well, man, I just haven't figured it out.
No, I know, it's fine. I'm fine.
I don't think I want it to be a podcast, though. I think I want it to be, like a video series.
Blog.
No.
No, but in the next year, I can almost promise this, though. We're going to have a website. Like an actual...
have a website in, like, the next couple weeks.
Yeah. Yeah. But, like, an actual website, and then, like, on that, like, I want to do movie reviews. I used to do them a lot, and I still do them. I just keep them to myself. I don't post them. Yeah, I want to do movie reviews, and I've kind of, like, saved them for this, because I knew.
Well, yeah, this is that whole thing where, like, I know we've talked about it before, where you want to, you know, you've always kind of been partial to Screen Junkies.
Yeah.
And this was kind of your, like, thing. I remember when you were first starting to do reviews.
Yeah.
And your whole thing was, like, this is, if nothing else, like, this is a portfolio for that kind of thing. Because that's what they do, you know?
Yeah.
And why jump to Screen Junkies whenever we can be our own screen junkies.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, I mean, and that's the thing too. It's like you create your environment. Like I want to work in a space that, you know, is fun. You have a good time. So I know that when we move to LA, we're not going to be doing this full time, but it definitely is something that I would love to see.
It would be really cool to be doing it full time.
See full time. 100% for sure. And that's, you know, not to drop
100% for sure.
Yeah. Not to drop or plug it, but this is why we started the Patreon. So and that's the biggest reason, you know, that's our goal, is to make something that's more than just a podcast. And so that's what we're thinking in our heads right now. And that's why we're doing this episode. So it's like, if you guys want something in particular you think that we'd be good at and we can explore that, hit us up. Tell us, like, if you think that we would be good at doing cooking videos. I don't know. But something like that.
Well, now you have to talk about that. Okay,
what?
So Parker comes to me the other day, and he's like, I've had this great idea. This is what we should do. I'm like, okay, well, let's hear it. So Parker's talking about doing, like we just get shitty.
Yeah.
and just make cooking videos.
Yeah. And that's it.
And that's the thing. That's our thing.
I think that would be awesome and really funny.
Oh, man.
But, you know.
It'd be interesting.
Yeah.
For sure. I like to cook, though, so, like, I'm not saying...
I don't even think that we have to drink. I would just love to make some cooking videos.
Oh, but I think it'd be real fun to drink. But also, you know, I don't know, that's something that already exists, you know?
Yeah.
So it's weird. We're gonna have to do a lot of research. We're really gonna have to, like, spend some time, like, figuring this shit out. But you know, the initial conversation, Parker texted me like 3 a.m. Like, it was so late. And he's just like, Gabe, the Sad Bois are not just a podcast. We do not end that way. We will not be just a podcast forever. He's like, I'm trying to be a conglomerate. I'm trying to be a multimedia network. And I was like, holy shit, I've never even thought about this. And ever since, we've just kind of been talking about it. And yeah, like, that's the thing, is like, we want to be able to be hitting, like, kind of every aspect of life. You know, we're doing politics, we're doing music, we're doing, you know, comics, movies, all that kind of stuff. You know, it's still podcasting, of course, but, you know, we've got a whole video department at some point where we can just make funny skits and short films and stuff like that, because that, like, brings things back to our roots and things that we're, like, super passionate about, because at the end of the day, like, that's what I want to be doing is just making films. I don't know, like, it's just thinking about it, and I didn't think that I would get to this point just talking about it on this episode. Is like, that fucking fires me up. Yeah. Like, I'm super excited thinking about this, and, like, I don't really know what that looks like to make this a thing, but I'm fucking pumped for it. Yeah. And I know that, you know, especially through, because I'm, like, you know, very tied into, like, YouTube and stuff. Like, I've always followed a lot of people and watch all their videos and stuff, and a lot of the people that I watch have been part of, like, big things like BuzzFeed and SourceFed and all this stuff, and that's kind of been on the decline, but they've all kind of stepped out and done their own, like, indie kind of networks, and it's all kicking ass, and it looks so fun. Yeah. And that's what they do. That's how they pay the bills, and that's how they work, is they're just doing that kind of thing, and that sounds fucking awesome. Yeah, that's definitely what I want to be doing, 100%. I just want, you know, this one's like a 10-year goal. But I hadn't even thought that far ahead. No, I will probably be dead by then. Maybe. Definitely in 11 years. Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. No, but I've always thought it would be really, really cool to do a clothing line. I don't know. Can you imagine, like, a hoodie with, like, just a tiny little stitched versions of our faces? Not like stitched the Disney character. No, I get that. Like, stitched into the hoodie. I don't know. I think I could make a pretty good cardigan. Yeah. I've thought about that many times, because it's just the brand. Yeah. No, that's what I'm saying. It's just like, this whole thing is just kind of like, because so many people want to laugh and have a good time, and that's all people really want.
You know, everyone wants to laugh and have a good time, and a lot of people struggle with a lot of different things, especially like mental health and like all these things, and